O'clock, the first pitch that Tyler Anderson will throw here at Coors Field. Ballpark filling up for another big fireworks crowd. All right, what are we rooting for? Rocks had a tough loss last night. I'm going to start things off with a jump start from the guy that found out today. He's starting in the All-Star game. Carlos Gonzalez, 3 hits last night. 34th multi-hit game this season. Second in the NL, the 290th of his career. How about 3 more hits from Cargo jump-starting the offense?
I'm rooting for finishing touches. Tyler Anderson has had 5 great starts where he hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs. He's limited walks. He doesn't have a hit yet, so maybe he'll get a big knock with an RBI. But I'm rooting for him to finally put his finishing touches on a start and get the win.
And I'm going to be rooting for, please read me another chapter. That's what kids are going to be saying to their parents when it's hashtag story time. Yeah. Because if he hits a home run or an extra base, I want him to hit a home run so he breaks the rookie record before the All-Star break. It'll also break the extra base hit record. So just get it all done with one simple swing of the bat. So I'll read me another chapter.
Yeah. We'll take story time.
You're getting old. We might have to read you another chapter.
Yeah, please.
We'll come back and continue to get you ready for first pitch. And hey, we can't talk enough about Cinco, the precious cargo that is Carlos Gonzalez, as I said, starting the All-Star game. Drew and Smitty will talk about that next.
gorgeous Saturday night in the Mile High City. And welcome inside, everybody. It is a perfect night for baseball.
Yes,
a little
it
bit
is.
warm if we're going to be picky. It's about 100 degrees, at least it was earlier. With Ryan Spilborghs, I'm Drew Goodman. Glad, of course, that you're along with us. Tough loss for the Rockies last night. They held a 2-0 lead. They got a great outing from Jon Gray, and it's one of those ones you got to put in your hip pocket.
Yeah, that's out of 10 quality starts for Jon Gray in the first half, but you have to move on. Tonight is going to be very important for this team moving forward with All-Star break right around the corner.
Got great news earlier today. Carlos Gonzalez, you knew he was an all-star already, but because of a couple of injuries, Cargo is going to start the 2016 All-Star game. Starting to be old hat for him, huh?
It should be. When you look at the numbers, this is one of baseball's best players. You look at where he ranks in baseball. I love the fact that the batting average is up. Why? Because he's hitting the ball opposite field a lot more. You can see the infield hits. His legs are back to being underneath him. Talk about one of the true 5-tool athletes in this game. That's Carlos Gonzalez, and we get the pleasure of watching him all the time. I love the fact that he's getting his opportunity to start in a very important game for the National League if they want that home field advantage.
Yeah, let's not forget. I mean, there's something attached to it. A lot of people don't like it, but you know what? For the team that wins, they get home field advantage. And Carlos Gonzalez, I'm sure, will be somewhere in the middle of that order in San Diego. It is a great honor for him.
Well, and Terry Collins is going to be pleased when he has the opportunity to write Carlos Gonzalez in that lineup. And for Rockies fans and for his teammates, it's one of the better teammates and one of the better players in baseball. Happy for him.
Well put. So Cargo is going to be a starter. The Rockies getting ready to go against the Philadelphia Phillies. Tyler Anderson's on the hill. Come on back to 20th and Blake with us. It is game 3 of this 4-game set between the Rockies and the Philadelphia Phillies. 48 hours in front of the All-Star break. Rockies won on Thursday night. They fell 5-3 yesterday despite out-hitting Philadelphia 12-7. Tyler Anderson making his 6th big league start, whether he is on the road or here at Coors Field, he has pitched well. He has been very competitive, and he's long overdue for his first W, Ryan Spilborghs.
Yes, he is. He's had 3 starts at home at Coors Field, and the fact that he still has a 3.03 ERA is all you need to know about Tyler Anderson. You can see Peter Borges is getting the start tonight over Dougal Herrera. Good lineup for Tyler Anderson to get his first win tonight, though.
Absolutely, and there are a couple of changes from the first couple of nights for Pete Mackanin. Here is the Southwest batting order. Peter Borges, who can really run. He's swinging the bat well the last month. He'll lead off. Then Freddie Galvis, Maikel Franco. Tommy Joseph came off the bench at the 3-run home run last night. He gets a start for Ryan Howard at first. Jimmy Paredes will be in right field. He'll bat 5th. Chooch is in there for the first time in the series. The veteran catcher Carlos Ruiz. Cesar Hernandez. Tyler Goodell made that great catch last night coming off the bench. And Jared Eichhoff will be pitching. Tyler Anderson is ready to go. Yeah, he's 0-3, but he's got the 3.03 ERA. And the thing I love, man, about almost 4.5 to 1, the strikeout to walk ratio so far. And despite pitching in Coors Field, the whip is well below league average.
Well, you look at the arsenal that he has, that 91-mile-an-hour fastball. He can range it anywhere from 84 to 93 miles an hour. He'll throw his changeup at any time.
And I'll tell you what, if he gets that pitch all night, it's going to be a long night for the Phillies.
Long night.
Here's the 0-1 on Borges. And there's that good off-speed pitch. And quickly he's ahead 0-2. Well, I like how this guy competes. I've said it every time he's taken the baseball. He's got a focus. He studies like he's getting ready to take the LSATs, man. I mean, he really prepares for each of his performance. Borges saw 3 pitches, and he's got to go away. That's a nice start.
Talk about the perfect sequence. First pitch, fastball away. Changeup follows up on it, and then a cut fastball inside under his hands. See you later. Pat never. Oh, that's a changeup. And you look where the location is. He's willing to throw that changeup in, let it fall back towards the middle part of the plate.
Freddie Galvis slides up in the order the 2 spot. That cutter's in there for a strike. Jerry Meals is behind home plate. Tom Woodring at first, Ron Culp at second, Chris Conroy's at third. And the 0-1 is away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tyler Anderson played his collegiate baseball at Oregon. He was part of the first recruiting class there. He's a native of Las Vegas. And that's high, 2-1.
You know, I always bring it back to Santa Barbara. Andrew Checketts, UC Santa Barbara's head coach, who just signed a new extension for UCSB after getting them to Omaha, was one of the most influential people in Tyler Anderson's life. Part of the reason why Andrew Checketts was so influential on Tyler Anderson at the University of Oregon was that he really made him focus on the little things, keeping a book, making sure you were routine oriented, something that this was established in college. And a lot of times you don't learn your routine until you get into the minor leagues.
2-2 right now on Galvis. And that's outside. I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the things that was often discussed about John Gray a year ago is that he had to learn how to prepare as a professional pitcher. And it wasn't a shot at what he had done at Oklahoma. It's just different. He pitched every 7 days, every Friday night. That was his day. On the ground to Nolan, and he's got it. Freddie Galvis is the second out. Let's take a look at the Rockies with the gloves tonight. Daniel Descalso did so well offensively and defensively. He's earned another start in left field, his 2nd career start. Now in as many days in left field. Blackman in center, Cargo's in right. All-star Nolan Arenado at 3rd. Trevor Story, DJ LeMahieu up the middle. Mark Reynolds is at 1st, and Tony Walters has the gear on tonight.
Going back to what you're talking about as far as establishing a routine, it is hard when you're in the professional ranks for the first time, especially starting pitching. You even see it when you see Japanese players come over. That's a swing. It could be one of the most awkward swings you'll ever see.
That's a different swing. That's not his A swing, is it?
Not his A swing. Part of the reason, and I heard some of the Phillies talk about, they go, are all the games starting off in the shadows? No.
Maikel Franco behind 0-2.
Yeah, the fans can see the shadows that I'm talking about. You'll see the pitcher standing in the sun, and then the overhang from the stadium darkening up the grass.
I love that pitch. Moves him off the plate. Sets up a number of possibilities for Tyler Anderson, ahead 1-2. Walters wants, he rubbed the ground, and then he wanted that pitch up, actually trying to deke Maikel Franco. Did you ever hear that? Did it work against you?
Some guys they're really loud behind home plate. Some catchers are extremely loud. You can hear them moving their feet, and you can tell, and you can feel when they're underneath you. But that's only a few number of catchers.
And again, he goes fastball up in the zone. 1-2. 14 pitches, 10 strikes thrown by Tyler Anderson. Top of the first inning. It says 91 degrees on the board. Got out of the car when I got to the ballpark a little after 3 this afternoon, and it was 100.
It's too hot for you.
Hyundai. Three and two. I deal better with the dry heat than when we go to Florida in July. Well, we haven't been in Florida in July. It was a little earlier, but you get the point.
Yes. And I do know on days like today when it's 100 degrees, not a lot of wind, the ball will carry.
For instance, next week we'll be in Hotlanta. It's going to be really smoking there.
Cincinnati, there was a series in Cincinnati years ago. It must have been, it felt like 140 degrees on the field. We were dipping our feet in the water buckets just run on the field.
Did you ever hear guys wearing lettuce?
In their hats?
No, lettuce in their on their feet.
Not on their feet. I've heard of it in their
In
hats.
The hat? I've heard of both. Heard of the hat.
Never heard of lettuce in the feet. Oh, catch this baseball.
I can't. It's too far away.
We're looking at this inning as being maybe a quick inning, and Franco has been able to have a, it's going to end up being at least an 11 pitch at bat.
This is pitch number 11. And he jammed him. Story calls off Nolan, and a good start for Tyler Anderson. Couple weak ground balls and a strikeout. When we come back, we'll see the Rockies offense. No score. Rockies getting ready to go with the bats. Charlie Blackmon's going to lead things off for Colorado. He's batting .308. His on-base percentage a robust .372. He's not too far shy, having a .500 slugging percentage. Here's the Southwest batting order tonight for Walt Weiss. DJ will bat second. Then it's Nolan and Cargo 3-4. Trevor Story will follow them. And Daniel Descalso again at the 6th spot. Mark Reynolds, Tony Walters, and Tyler Anderson. Well, the guy on the hill, when you read the scouting reports on Jerad Eickhoff, most scouts felt like, well, he's going to be a back of the rotation kind of guy. I was talking to Larry Bowa today. He said he's going to be a lot better than that. He's going to be at least in the middle of the rotation. Great competitor, kind of what we said about Tyler Anderson. This guy's just been a horse so far on the mound. Big, strong kid.
Big, strong kid. It was a 15th rounder signed by the Texas Rangers. Was part of the Cole Hamels deal. And everything you hear about Eickhoff, and you'll see the numbers, they're not going to overwhelm you, but when you look at it, the slider percentage, it says 16%. Well, in April, he was only throwing that slider 6% of the time. Now he's realized that that is a very good pitch for him. It is bumped up from June to July up to 22%. So now he's going fastball, slider, loves to throw it to left-handed hitters, and left-handers are hitting a measly 160 off of it.
And a lot of visiting pitchers scrap their curveball at Coors Field. So we're expecting, and I'm sure Blake Doyle feels this way, to see a lot of the slider as opposed to the curveball tonight. Here's the 2-1. He works on the inside portion of the plate, 2-2. Eickhoff was part of the Cole Hamels deal with Texas. Jake Diekman, the power lefty, also went to Texas. Matt Harrison, Alec Asher came back from Texas. And this ball's in the air to shallow right. And getting a late jump, but getting there is Paredes, 1 out.
Second baseman, number 9.
Here's Philadelphia defensively. Borges, who's been playing right field, slides over to center. That's his natural spot. Goodell can run in left field. Brady's just made that play. Franco and Galvis left side. Cesar Hernandez, Tommy Joseph on the right side. Joseph is a converted catcher, and Carlos Ruiz is behind the plate. Joseph originally with the San Francisco Giants, a really well thought of receiver, but he got hit with numerous foul tips, and he dealt with 7 different concussions. Finally, he said, you can't go back there anymore.
Similar story is John Jaso, now with the Pittsburgh Pirates, spent time with Tampa Bay, with Oakland A's, same type of deal.
One and 2 on LeMahieu. DJ, the 2nd leading hitter in the National League. Outside. And you know the way he operates. I mean, he would never say it publicly, but he feels he should be an all-star. And DJ is one of those chip on the shoulder guys. It's going to be fuel for him. He'll probably go out and get 3 more knocks tonight.
I'd love to see it.
There's his first.
Good call. If you look at the progression of DJ LeMahieu in career, he's had an OPS low 700s. This year it's nearly 888. Has nearly a 400 on-base percentage, and you can see on the Subaru Supermo, he's covering all pitches. That's an off-speed pitch away. It's a little difficult to see right now. Never faced Eickhoff before. He's been pounding him in. And then for the ability of DJ to make sure you put the bat in on the ball. See why he's ranked 2nd in baseball in National League batting average right now.
Nolan a hit and a walk last night. His average resting at 287. That's what he hit each of the last 2 seasons. And that pitch called a strike. 0-1. 5-year-old Jerad Eickhoff on the mound. You have a young guy that you haven't seen. It's like a fact-finding mission the first time through, isn't it?
It really is. You're trying to figure out what's his body language like, what's his pace like, where is he going to throw the ball, where does he feel comfortable pitching? Is he arm side? Is he glove side? Can he command up in the zone? So far, Eickhoff, you showed me two things. On lefties, he's not afraid to throw in. Righty's not afraid to throw in.
That's fouled off down the right field line.
Eickhoff tried to elevate a fastball in DJ. That's another indicator for me that the guy knows how to pitch. And watching the pace, he's not afraid. He is very quick in between pitches.
Two strikes on Arenado with DJ at first and 1 out. He draws another throw. DJ, a selective base stealer.
I'm glad you said selective. He's been watching to see if he has a high leg kick, and 0-2 is usually a slider off-speed count.
1-2.
There's that elevated fastball.
You were mentioning that DJ's just under 900 with his OPS, and earlier in the year he was batting 8th, but primarily now he's kind of flipped with Trevor Story. He bats 2nd. The team leader in OPS this year out of the 2-hole is Baltimore at 935. The Rockies are 3rd at 912. Some of that work obviously was Trevor Story. This is pulled foul. The league average is somewhere around 780. I say somewhere because I took the middle team. The Nationals are 15th at 788 this year, excuse me, 771 in that spot. So you're getting a guy in DJ LeMahieu who's hitting more than 100 points above what the average is in the 2 spot. It's really more like a middle of the order guy saving the home runs. Well, that's a good slider right there, and he strikes out Arenado. So 2 outs, and that'll bring up Cargo. Folks, when the Rockies score 7 runs or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. Cargo last night threw out 3 hits and 5 at bats, including an RBI double. Philadelphia puts the shift on. Cargo beat it the other way last night a couple of times. That's inside ball 1. Middle of the road for a 3-hole hitter. League average is about 820. OPS for a 3-hole hitter.
Coming up through the minor leagues, my baseline number that I always wanted to make sure I was close to was 800. That to me was, hey, you're a solid player if you're at 800.
Cargo stays off that, 2-1.
And throughout the minor leagues, it was interesting because my roommate Salazar, Jeff Salazar, who's now the AA hitting coach, with the Yard Goats, we didn't look at average and home runs. We would point at OPS sometimes. We go, hey, let's try to make sure we get to 800. If we can get to 900, we're doing some things.
And Cargo bounces one to second. And the Rockies are done in their half for the first. LeMahieu reached on a base hit. We'll go to the second. No score at Coors Field on a warm, toasty summer night.
Top of the second. As you all know, these two are all-stars. They're heading to San Diego to be part of the all-star game. Before the game, they got their all-star jerseys handed out to them, which was really special. You can see they came out, headed to San Diego. You can see the colors there as Nolan and Arenado, came out. But Nolan is going to be watching Cargo in the Home Run Derby, and so he's got an interesting perspective. Here's how he's going to support Cargo during the Home Run Derby.
If he needs me to be there, give him a towel or a water bottle or something, I'll be there for him. But no, I'm just excited to watch him. I'm going to be pulling for him. Maybe make a couple bets with some of the guys that Cargo's going to win it. But no, it'll be a good time.
Now, Nolan was asked to participate in the Home Run Derby. He declined, but it is on his bucket list. So if he goes to another All-Star game, he'll try and get it in. He wanted to get a little bit of rest during this All-Star break. But maybe we'll see him next year in Miami, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb, Brad. I'm going to say that this will not be his final All-Star appearance.
It better not be.
No, I think he's got many more in his future. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tommy Joseph leading off the second inning for the Phils. All-speed pitches fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Joseph. Really a great story because Joseph, with all the concussions, looked like he may be out of baseball. He went as a minor league free agent to Philadelphia's camp, a non-roster invitee, I should say, to Philadelphia's camp, and he raked in the spring. This ball's hit pretty well to left field, and it's going to get on out of here. Joseph has done it again. That is home run number 11. He hit the pinch hit home run last night, and he gives Philadelphia a 1-0 lead. Well, he was raking in AAA, and that's how he got called up. Got back on the major league radar, and he's not disappointed. He's hit some home runs.
Well, if you look at even beyond just the stats that he has, if you look at his average launch speed, how fast he's hitting the ball, 99 miles an hour on average off the bat. That's well above league average. You see how nice and short that swing is on the inside part of the plate. Similar to what we saw last night, unfortunately, against Jake McGee. Had a cutter inside that Tommy Joseph pinch hit 3-run home run. Now, I do have to bring something up. For Nolan was talking about, you know, getting a little action during the All-Star game about Carlos Gonzalez potentially winning the Home Run Derby. Cargo's bringing in his own BP thrower, Freddie Ocasio.
Freddie Ocasio is going to throw BP. Good for Freddie.
And Freddie, for anybody that knows Freddie or doesn't know Freddie, Freddie Ocasio is now manager. I think he's in Nashville. And he throws the best batting practice out of any coach that I've ever been around.
So Freddie is going to be throwing to Cargo, and I like Cargo's chances to win in San Diego.
That's nerve-wracking for the guy throwing BP too.
No, it's normal.
Yeah, but it's not normal to have, you know, 50,000 people, or in the case of
Nobody
San Diego,
yells
40.
at the BP thrower. If the guy doesn't hit a home run in the All-Star game, they yell at the hitter.
But if the catcher keeps catching him and flipping him out of the way, they're like,
When
come on,
was the
throw it over the
last time
plate.
he yelled at the BP thrower?
Sometimes the BP guy gets dirty looks, right? You'd be notorious for that. Give the poor guy throwing BP to you dirty looks if he's missing the strike zone. That's popped up shallow right. Cargo coming hard. He'll get there. 1 out. This Paredes is retired. That'll bring up Carlos Ruiz.
You're right, though.
Number 51.
Mike Gallego threw the home run derby. I think it was for Matt Holliday, and I think he did it again for Troy Tulowitzki. And he said he's never been so nervous in his whole life standing up there trying to throw home run balls to these guys. Last year or a couple years ago was Tom Reynolds, 2012, when Cargo participated.
Tommy just started throwing BP again because he had off-season shoulder surgery. He's excited about that, getting to throw BP again. Ruiz with a late swing. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Freddie Ocasio, going back to Freddie, he's the manager of the Modesto Nuts.
Freddie's a good man. Been a Rocky for a long time. In the Cal League, 3-1 on Ruiz. Nolan with all kinds of time. 2 outs. That'll bring up Cesar Hernandez. Folks, you can join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts, photos, and questions via Twitter or Instagram. Make sure you include the hashtag Toyota Talk. We'll get to as many of your thoughts as we can during the game. Want to know on Hernandez. That's a great bunt. And a good decision by Anderson. Just eat it. Go get the next guy.
It leads the National League in infield bunts, and over the last 2 nights, we've been surprised that we have not seen him bunt 1 time. You can see he lays it down perfectly. He makes sure he bunts it before he runs. It's not even much of a sneak attack. Just sets the barrel, sets the angle, and bunts it and runs. A lot of times you'll see guys try to do the drag bunt, and they try to
run before they bunt.
Yeah, and they try to sneak it out on you. It's a little bit deception, but it's not as much as you think.
Tyler Goodell at the plate with 2 outs. Speed at first in Hernandez. 1-0 Philadelphia, and Anderson's going to go over. Anderson has that kind of hitch in his delivery, and 2 starts ago, some guys took advantage of that and stole some bags on him. That was the start against Toronto. We were talking about BP, by the way. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a guy that he took a lot of BP off of, who I always call Iron Mike. Rick Matthews throws good BP.
Rick Matthews, one of the best ones. He just doesn't throw it as often anymore. Rick Matthews threw BP to Mark McGwire when the All-Star game was here at Coors Field.
98.
And mark, hits the famous home run that landed in the players' parking lot. So over the Toyota Tundra sign off in left field by the scoreboard, there's a ball that landed in the players' lot. That was off Rick Matthews.
He also hit the batter's eye.
Yeah, he hit it over that.
It's only 485 feet. Rick's now a special assistant on the scouting side for the Rockies. He's an original Rocky. Bullpen coach for a long time here in Denver. Three and one. Sometimes it's been by design, but the changeup has been high a little bit. He's had trouble getting it down early in this game.
Sometimes it's just eyesight, making sure, and for every pitcher, that not all their pitches work every single night. So it's a feel for them. He might scratch a certain changeup or a location just because he can't get on top of the baseball. Not yet.
Good pitch. 3-2. Coming up in the third inning, Jeff Bridich, Rockies general manager, is going to join us for a while. Talk about the first half. It's 4 3-ball counts already for Anderson. And that's strike 3. He throws Goodell. That'll end the inning. Tommy Joseph, though, led off the inning with a home run to left. And the Phils have a 1-0 lead. Middle of 2 at Coors Field. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the 2016 Toyota Tundra and your hometown Toyota stores. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Pretty summer night. The Rockies trail 1-0. Trevor Story's going to lead things off in the second against Jerad Eickhoff. Eickhoff out of Olney Central Community College. And if you're wondering where on earth is that, it's in the state of Illinois. It's a Midwestern kid, drafted late out of high school, and then was a junior college All-American, also a junior college academic All-American. And he was drafted in the 15th round by Texas. And he did sign.
So far, the Phillies have seemed to get their return with the Cole Hamels deal. You look at the two numbers between Cole Hamels and Jerad Eickhoff. It's amazing. 18 quality starts and 25 games started for Jerad Eickhoff to begin his career. Jerad has A lower ERA, a lower whip. He's given up less homers.
Do you know the last Philly pitcher to open a career and have 18 quality starts out of their first 25?
Roy Halladay.
Swung on and foul tip held. A strikeout, a story. Robin Roberts.
Wow, that's a great name.
Think about that. Hall of Famer Robin Roberts. The last two big league pitchers with that many quality starts in their first 25 career games, Jacob deGrom of the Mets and Masahiro Tanaka of the Yankees. deGrom had 20 quality starts. Tanaka 19. This young man has produced 18. He's got one out with Daniel Descalso at the plate. Descalso was 1 for 3 last night. And then was removed in the 7th inning defensively, though he made 2 really good plays. Really above average plays defensively. But the Rockies, with the 2-0 lead at the time, brought Brandon Barnes in. Here's one of 2 good catches he made last night.
This is always a tough play for an outfielder. A low line drive to your glove side. Daniel, sparkling play. And you're right, that's a very difficult play. He's teasing last night that John Gray, as soon as the ball was hit, you're like, oh, don't hit it to that guy. Yeah, hit it to him. Perfect.
Two strikes on Descalso. It's outside. Eichhoff 6'4" and almost 250 pounds. It looks the part. Big winner at the minor league level, 44 and 27.
Just goes to show you, we talked about last night how inexact the science of the draft is. 15th rounder, the success that Eichhoff has had already.
Hernandez, 2 outs.
First baseman, number 12, Mark Reynolds.
Located at field level, the Warning Track Party Room offers one of the most unique views of the ball game. Call for availability. Every time I played right field, I always interact with those people back there too. Smile, wave, they feel so close.
Did you bring him seeds or a gum or anything?
No, but in between pitching changes, I'd walk up close to them and they have popcorn. They'd feed me popcorn.
You were like, you were the animal
Like
in the
at
zoo,
the zoo, yeah.
not the other way around.
Please do not feed the right fielder. There's a sign inside that warning track area.
Well, look what happened to Holiday. Then he became addicted to seeds. Matt Holliday has the sodium level of the Planters factory. 2-0's in there, 2-1 on Mark Reynolds. 290 average, 9 home runs, 37 driven in for Reynolds. And Mark hits this ball pretty well to right field, and it is going to be caught mid-track out there by Paredes. That'll end the inning. The Rockies, as we go to the 3rd, trailing 1-0. Jeff Bridich along when we return. 1-0 on a home run from Tommy Joseph. He's had 2 swings of the bat here in Denver, and he's hit 2 home runs. A 3-run home run last night that proved to be the game winner. Time for the Timeless Moment, brought to you by Coors Bank. Remember this? The All-Star game in '03, Helton hit a 2-run home run off Hasegawa in the 5th inning, and the National League went up 2-1. Unfortunately, if we're tied in the Nationals, the American League would come back and win that game 7-6. That got me out of my chair in 2003.
I'm trying to remember, I was in the minor leagues. I remember that.
You were early in your professional career.
Hasegawa was a very good pitcher at the Seattle Mariners.
Here's Eichhoff. Supposedly can swing it a little bit. Takes ball 1. It looked like a good take, right? This guy's sturdy, Spilly.
He's a big guy.
That's inside 2-0.
Not bad.
In there, 2-1. Rockies just announced a move. Christian Bergman was activated off the disabled list with the oblique injury and was optioned to Albuquerque. I pop up to Descalso in left center. He's got it, 1 out. And some other news and notes. Chris Rusin is going to throw a simulated game tomorrow. And Gerardo Parra ran yesterday. He's running straight ahead. He hasn't started making the turns on the bases. Talking to Keith Duggar yesterday about Parra, and he's really coming along. It's going to be after the All-Star break. And typically, though, that's a 6-week injury, and he's only 3 weeks since the high ankle sprain. Looks like he's ahead of any sort of timetable, but it's still in the process of getting that ankle 100%, because it's different, you know, testing it at 1 in the afternoon and then having to play at 7 o'clock at night.
And remember how gruesome the injury looked as it happened between Trevor Story and Gerardo Parra. You're watching him, he's getting carted off the field. Our brains only go to instant negative land.
Borges with a line drive that's gloved by LeMahieu. 2 outs.
Probably not a better first step at second base in baseball, and even when you're 6'4", DJ covers so much ground.
By the way, Freddie Ocasio and Mark Strittmatter, Stritty roving catching coordinators with Freddie right now, the Modesto Club. And he thanked you for the kind words.
Oh, nice. Strittmatter threw great BP too.
Yeah, Stritty does throw good BP. (2-0) with 2 outs on Freddie Galvis. Hit a ground ball to third his first time up. 1-0 Philadelphia.
Well, players always remember coaches that throw great batting practice.
Do you have favorite coaches as you were going through the minor league system?
I loved them all. I love Marv Foley. Marv Foley had
Marvelous Marv.
Marv was great. Marv made me really appreciate the game, especially at the AAA level, where I think AAA of all stops is probably the most difficult, just for guys, because you have guys that have been optioned down, guys that have major league service time, some guys that have just gotten there, and to keep a positive outlook in that environment is hard to do.
3-1 is a shot to center field. Galvis a hard turn, and Charlie Blackmon is going to hold him to a single. That'll bring up Franco. This is how you come around a bag at first. If we watch Freddie Galvis, watch his turn here.
Well, right out of the box, he was thinking too. And Charlie gets to that ball quick. That's how you're supposed to do it. You run until the outfielder stops you. Make sure that the throw's on line.
Everything's a double till they field it into a single,
exactly.
Right? Franco grounded to shortstop in an 11 pitch at bat his first time up. Philadelphia's been hot with the bats. They weren't a very good offensive team the first couple of months, but the last 17 games, they lead the big leagues in OPS at 873, slugging percentage at 518. And this ball gets away. So now to scoring positions, Galvis. Anderson acting as a cutoff man in the middle of the diamond.
Anderson trying to catch Galvis, snap it. The ball ends up hitting Tom Woodring at first base, the umpire. As that ball probably would have gone all the way down the right field line, and maybe Galvis is standing on third.
Well, another error on a Rockies pitcher. As of a few days ago, they had more errors with their pitching staff than any team in baseball. 2-strike count on Franco, and taken off for third, but it won't matter, is Galvis. A strikeout of Franco ends the inning. The error does not hurt. Middle of 3, it's 1-0 Philadelphia on the Joseph home run. High-speed challenge question. We want to know who reached 40 homers faster last year. Was it Nolan Arenado or Carlos Gonzalez? Go to @RootsSports_RM to vote. Last week's question was a good one. Want to know who had more career stolen bases of our 3 former players? That is a pretty good bunt by Walters, but a better play by Franco. And Franco, they say, coming in, kind of like Nolan, he was really good on slow rollers or bunts, and he looked pretty good there.
Well, he put the bunt in a great spot, great location. Tony setting the angle, putting the bunt down. The only thing that surprised me is how he's watching the ball the whole way.
Almost lost the route to first.
And that is a fantastic play, and that's a difficult angle for a third baseman. You're almost running in towards foul territory, and then you're having to throw the ball across the diamond, across your body. He's telling Galvis at short how he did it.
Pulled in the hole, a base hit for Tyler Anderson. Get that baseball. That's his first career knock. The dugout, Nick Hundley on the top of the railing yelling toward the field. But that's his first career hit.
Eichhoff didn't want to give it to him.
Eichhoff threw it in.
There you go. Treasure that, Tyler Anderson. Right off the end of the bat, right through the 4-hole. First of many, hopefully, Major League Baseball hits.
Can't ever take it away now.
You can hide it. Players will hide it.
Oh, I'm just saying the memory, though. Can't take it away. He's got a Major League hit. Eichhoff 7 out of 10 in first pitch strikes tonight. Blackmon hit a fly ball to right field his first time. 1 out, 1 on. And this ball hammered to deep right, stayed fair, and it's gone, and it twisted foul. Let's get the barrel out, huh?
There's not a worse feeling than squaring up in baseball, knowing that's a home run, and watching it hook foul. You have to walk back, grab your bat. Charlie earlier this year pulled one so far foul that it went almost to the Rocky club up in right field, and he was disappointed because that was a home run. Well, the next pitch he ended up hitting a homer, so that never happens.
But a base hit happens here. Anderson will stop at second, and they're 2 on. And 1 out here for LeMahieu, who has the Rockies' other base hit in the game. What a combination, Blackmon and LeMahieu. We were talking about it last night. These two have great synergy at the top of the lineup.
Your leadoff hitter has a .372 on base percentage. Your 2-hole hitter has a .396 on base percentage. Not bad.
Here's strike 1. Blackmon and LeMahieu have a very close relationship. They are similar in how they go about their business in terms of how diligent they are in their preparation, in season, out of season. And I know Charlie considers DJ the smartest baseball player he knows.
He's right. He's right in saying that.
But I feel like if him or I are out there, we have a really good chance of scoring with the guys that we have behind us. There's a lot of synergy happening with LeMahieu, Blackmon at the top of the order, for sure.
Yeah, not this time, as it's a 5-3 double play to end the inning off the bat of LeMahieu. 1-0 as we go to the 4th. Jeff Bridich next. 1-0, and Tommy Joseph's going to lead it off here in the top of the 4th inning with Ryan Spilborghs, Brad Thompson on the field. I'm Drew Goodman, and as promised, there's Jeff Breidish, the general manager of the Rockies.
Hi.
How are you?
Great.
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I offered you a pen. You said you used all your pens
I
upstairs.
wouldn't want to rob you of that collection. It's been impressive.
Yeah, got some of my favorite colors in the rainbow. We've arrived at the All-Star break.
Almost.
And does it seem like, which goes quicker, the first half or the second half, from where you sit?
Last year, it's probably the first half. Honestly, there's so much anticipation and excitement in spring training, and then boom, it's April, and before you know it, it's the end of April, and it's May, and it's we all look around and go, what the heck? It's May already, and so it's probably the first half, and I think that's pretty consistent. It's only the second season in this job, but I'd say it's first half.
Okay. What are you most pleased with? In the same breath, what would you be most disappointed with so far as this club evolves?
Well, I think I think some of the guys coming back from health. I think the way that Chatty's come back. Quick move there by Tyler. The way that Chatty's come back, such a credit to him in the way he worked, a credit to our medical staff and everybody involved. To put him in position to be where he's at right now. Same thing with Adam Otto, and nice to see him back basically right on schedule. That's kind of what we thought would be the case. And
that is a fair ball from Joseph. Off the bat.
3 swings from Joseph, almost 3 home runs.
I know, off the bat, I thought that was a foul ball.
Yeah.
You're right. He's hit the ball about 1,200 feet on his 3 swings.
His pitch off the
roll out and compete. And I think, the hope is that you see, especially with the rotation now, if we can settle in with this rotation and we can get Russin back soon, that there are some guys that are hopefully going to roll out and give us some quality starts, in succession and with some regularity. And I think we've seen that over the past couple of weeks. It just hasn't happened where we've put good baseball together. Drew, you called it symmetry. We've had very, very poor baseball symmetry over the last 2 weeks.
You look at, and you hear the same sentiment you're saying right now. We've heard it from guys like Nolan Arenado when he talks about there's been games left on the table. But you mentioned starting pitching. John Gray last night, that was a 10th quality start for him this season.
There you go.
Tyler Anderson's been pitching really well. Tyler Chatwood, best road ERA. Yet you look at this group.
De La Rosa is back to being De La.
How do you feel like you get the baseball, them to play all on the same page when we talk about not having that symmetry?
Well, I think that one of the things that we focused on in the off season, a couple things. One is the bullpen, and I think we're something like 30-5 with the lead after 6 or something like that. It might be a little bit less than that if we can check that, but I think I saw that stat. I did not. I didn't check it. But
lead after 6.
What's our record?
36-3.
36-3.
Yep.
With the lead after 6.
Lead after 6, 36-3. Excuse me, 30 and 5.
30
You're
and
right.
5.
My bad. I was
Right.
reading
And after the eighth inning,
it's 36 and 3.
Okay.
So there's been 3.
Okay, so every team's got hiccups at the back end, no matter who you are. Not even Hoffman and Rivera were perfect, but there was a conscious effort to address that, and hopefully that with some veterans and some youth, Estevez, we've started to address that.
Carlos Ruiz behind in the count, bounces one through the right side to make it 2-0 Philadelphia, and that'll bring up Cesar Hernandez. The one thing, we were talking about this a lot last night, you're talking about protecting leads late in games. One of the staples of the Rockies, going way back to their days for 2 seasons at Mile High, but certainly the old Lodo Magic. It's amazing because you put out a formidable lineup, and you have 5 guys offensively that all had all-star resumes.
Right.
And yet there has not been, this is through the left side of base hit, there has not been one come from behind, kind of you steal victory from the jaws of defeat. And we're used to seeing, 5, 6, 7 of those a year, sometimes even more than that. Is it one of those baseball god things and it'll leave it out in the second half? You have a theory on that?
I don't really, but I do think there are certain things you have to let play out. One of the things that I think in terms of having consistency and symmetry, and it's something that we are focused on, have been focused on, and definitely will continue to be focused on, is scoring runs in different ways. You cannot just rely on the home run. I mean, it doesn't work if you're completely one-sided that way offensively. And we're not. I mean, I think we're in the we're towards the top of the league overall in home runs hit. Where it's like we're top 10 or 12 or something like that. We've kind of been in that area. So, we've been scoring runs in different ways, but you have to have skill sets on the team. You have to have skill sets in the minor leagues to come up and make sure that when the game is asking you to execute certain things, especially offensively, and that you're getting it done. And maybe it's not scoring a run, maybe it's setting up the situation to score a run. We need to be able to do that consistently. And you need to be able to do that in places like San Francisco and LA.
Sure. Yeah, you look at that last road trip, only 4 runs scored in 5 of the games. And you're right, you look around this team, and I always point to Charlie Blackmon and DJ LeMahieu. 2 of the best table setters you have in baseball. And when you talk about it trickling down to the minor leagues, is that something for the minor league system as well, that you want these guys, when they get to the big leagues, they have to be able to do the team at bats?
100%. Yeah, I mean, look at David Dahl. I think David Dahl's a good example, right? And Tapia will be, the development process, as it's, Spilly is a little bit different for each guy. But at some point, you get to a point in your career where you really have to start preparing guys for what the expectation is going to be at this level to succeed in team baseball at this level. Now, David Dahl is uber talented, 5-tool prospect, good kid, hard worker. He's grown up a lot.
But off to a decent start, by the way, in Albuquerque.
I think Albuquerque agrees with him. But, he needed to be able to, if he's going to be a top-of-the-order guy, he needed to be able to refine his strike zone recognition, his pitch recognition. He had to be able to approach the game with some increased intelligence from an offensive perspective. If he was going to be relied on to be at the top of the order to better his on-base percentage, to be able to draw walks and take walks, to recognize when pitchers were trying to pitch around him a little bit, and get him with pitchers' pitches, not hitters' pitches. That's part of a development process, so that when he gets here, it's the stuff up here that you can't replicate at the minor leagues that takes him by surprise. Sure. It's the third deck. It's all the distractions that you've experienced before. All the other stuff, or most of it, we have got to hammer at the minor league, and we have got to get down for these guys at the minor league level so that they can be as comfortable as possible when they get here.
Well, you mentioned David Dahl, who is off to a ridiculously good start in Albuquerque. He just tweeted out he landed in San Diego, part of the Futures game. As an organization, you have to be proud. You have 3 players in San Diego at the Futures game, Tapia and Jeff Hoffman, the other one.
Very proud, and we had word that the Futures game is similar to the big league game. It's guys get hurt or they get this or that, traded, promoted, whatever. And I think Marquez was also being considered for the World team. he was on a short list because there was a player that got hurt, a pitcher, and but they went with somebody else. So
it's too bad. He had 8 innings last night and another win for the Yard Goats.
And Marquez, who came in the Tampa trade, is pitching exceptionally well. Come back more with Jeff in a moment. 2-0 Philadelphia.
Energy proficiency. Remember, Rockies fans use Excel Energy to make energy savings easy. Visit XLEnergy.com today. Leading off the bottom half.
Philadelphia leading 2-0. Tommy Joseph has proven to be a tough out. A home run and a double, and he eventually scored on the base hit by the veteran catcher Carlos Ruiz. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be Nolan Arenado, Cargo, and Trevor Story. Middle 3 in the order, facing Jared Eickhoff, who's been impressive so far. Jeff Bridich is with us, and we're watching a young pitcher here. Eickhoff has done a very nice job so far for Philadelphia. You have stockpiled a lot of high-quality arms. You have some guys you were mentioning earlier, young guys, including Tyler Anderson, pitching very well at this level. How do you eventually break in, like, for instance, a kid like Jeff Hoffman, a kid like Marquez, who I understand still in Double-A. Senzatella has been up and down in terms of injury this year.
Yeah.
Kyle Freeland, you moved recently up to Triple-A.
It's been a tough year for Senza. But, you know, going back to something Spilly said in the top half of the inning with John Gray, you know, and 10 quality starts in a row. I mean, the comfort, you know, something that was said, I think, last night post-game, you know, he feels more comfortable. He feels more confident in this ballpark at this level. You know, that's all part of the process, and sometimes it happens more quickly for certain guys than others, but you know, he probably wouldn't have felt this way this year if we had not done last year what we had done timing-wise with him. And you know, he had to show certain things about his readiness last year. He had to prove to himself in AAA in altitude for the first time, you know, in Albuquerque, that he was going to be able to do certain things, make certain adjustments, and he was going to be able to handle the rigors of this level. And you know, no different with these other guys. I mean, it's all part of the process.
Franco makes a nice play to take a potential hit away from Arenado. I'm glad you made mention of what John Gray said after the game, because it was a 180 from the comment that we heard late last year, where he felt perplexed, if you will, by pitching at Coors Field and trying to figure out how to get guys out at altitude. And now he says, well, I like pitching here. I look forward to pitching here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's growth, right? It's experience, it's growth. And for Tyler Anderson, you know, maybe it's going to be a little bit different. He didn't spend nearly as much time pitching in Albuquerque in altitude as John did. And, you know, he's got a different set of skills as a pitcher than John does. He's a different guy. So maybe he's going to be able to settle in a little bit more quickly. It really varies, and that's why we try to stay in tune with these guys as much as we possibly can and have sets of standards for them that they have to reach before, you know, they're ready for this level.
Well, we got mentioned with Carlos Gonzalez obviously going through some rumors this week. unfounded rumors. How do you deal with those type of stuff? I know you and I were joking, 'tis the season. How do you approach this month?
You just got to keep taking deep breaths at times. You know, there's a beast out there that's just going to drive rumors, and it's going to drive news and news making, and you know the fact checking that goes on behind all that stuff.
There is none.
Yeah, or you know, it's
Not
spotty
anymore.
at best, right?
Yep.
And so, you know, I think if you realize that, I think if you have you know, you have somewhat of a sense of humor about it, but also stay vigilant with it, because you have to remember that it affects human beings, and you know, we're all human beings in the process, and especially the guys down in the clubhouse who it can emotionally or mentally affect the most, because their names are out there. You know, the families read. They might not read the stuff, but you know, families do, wives do, girlfriends, moms, dads, brothers, friends, everybody, and it's just not fair at times.
High and deep to right field. Did he get enough of it? Not quite. The catch by Paredes at the wall, and it's a long out off the bat of Cargo. Are there guys on the 25 or 40-man roster for you that are untouchable? I mean, obviously the third baseman's a great player. The right fielder's been a great player. Or do you always say you never ever say or speak in absolutes, because your job is to put the best 25 guys ultimately on the field?
It's very difficult to speak in absolutes. You know, Nolan's about as close to that U word that you just mentioned.
Right.
You know, that shall not be spoken. As it gets, right? It would take, you know, just some sort of, you know, ridiculousness on behalf of somebody else to even make us want to think about that sort of situation. So, you know, I think we have to stay professional and do our jobs and do what we're tasked to do and paid to do, and that means keep an open mind and be creative and think creatively and think out of the box as much as you can, and include as many people in that process as possible, and still keep things, you know, as quiet as possible out of respect to everybody involved.
Sure. It's a puzzle that you are constantly having to put together, and the pieces change, because I look at something else. You know, you have, I'll save that. Can you stick around half inning? I'll save that question for next half inning. What a tease. In the business, we call that a tease. People don't even know what I'm going to say, but
You got me. I can't wait.
yeah. Well, at least you got one guy. 2-0 Philly. Love, it's what makes a Subaru. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Yeah, good pitching last night. Again, good pitching tonight. Philadelphia leading 2-0. As we go to the top of the 5th inning, Tyler Anderson will face the Phil's lineup the third time through. It's top, led by Peter Borges with Jeff Bridich and
What's your name again?
Ryan Spilly. He just does. It's like a one-name guy. It's like
a bad,
Ronaldo.
it's like a bad penny. We just can't get rid of him.
Exactly. With Ryan Spilborghs, Brad Thompson, field level. So I was starting to ask you, it's like a puzzle. You're putting this whole thing together. You know you have certain players that you believe are going to be impactful, at least project to be impactful coming up. You have an all-star at third base. You have a possible all-star at shortstop, a guy who's been an all-star at second. You have a guy that's been an all-star in center field. You have a perennial, if you will, all-star in right field. The right fielder's already being paid a lot of money. He's got his deal ending next year. When you sit down, you have to say, okay, you know, do we try to extend Carlos Gonzalez? Do we make a preemptive offer at Nolan Arenado? All the things that play out in professional sports. What's the timetable on putting all of those pieces together, knowing that, you know, some of these guys are moving along in their ARB years, or arbitration years?
Sure, or getting, you know, moving up towards arbitration and all that, which, you know, basically the clock's ticking, right? The clock's always ticking.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're getting at is that, you know, that once you bring guys up here and they begin their major league careers, that clock towards free agency is always going. And so it really first comes down to communication, and because in order for deals to get done, you know, you mentioned Carlos's deal. So that happened, what, four years ago now? And there had to be mutual interest in that. So the first step is, okay, you know, what's the vision here? Long term, what's the vision short term, what's the vision long term? And is there a shared interest for whomever it is? You know, Cargo is the example here, but is there a shared interest in trying to work something out, because this makes sense for the organization, it makes sense for the player. You know, the player has to really value financial security.
Sure.
You know, there's always going to be a chance that the player is going to leave something on the table. Always. You never know. But the flip side is they could be, you know, depending on health and whatever else, they could be making more money than they would have otherwise if they had. So there has to be an intrinsic, softer value to the player saying, I really, this is the right thing for me. This place is the right place for me. This is, as I look, if they have a family especially, a lot of times those considerations get involved. And they should. It's, you only get to do this once. You know, you go around this merry-go-round one time as a major leaguer, and these are important decisions.
How hard is it, too, when you're watching it and we're talking about these guys on the current roster, and you're talking about, you know, making sure you keep a guy in the organization when you have young guys like a David Dahl, Tapia just pounding on the door. They're getting closer and closer. How do you judge that, where, you know, if you do one of these long-term deals, now you've blocked one of the guys, or do you view it like that?
What a wonderful problem to have.
Right?
That's how, I mean, what a wonderful issue. Too much talent and too many people that you really believe in, and believe in as people, believe in as teammates, believe in as potential impactful major league players. You know, that's not an issue. That's small fries. You know, I mean, it's all that kind of stuff figures itself out. And if you really go into it with good intentions, a lot of that stuff just, you know, it figures itself out. I mean, look at all the injuries around this game right now. It's just, there's guys dropping, literally major leaguers dropping, big time major leaguers dropping every single day.
Yeah, I think
and you can never have enough.
Yeah, I've said this to you before. I don't know if we've said it on the air or privately. And I know that when the Tulowitzki deal happened, you have conversations with a number of different teams, and whether it was the Rockies or anybody else, Sandy Alderson famously would not part with any of called the Big Five in New York pitchers. And it's wise from their decision, from my standpoint, because you can never have enough starting pitching.
No, they didn't plan on Matt Harvey having thoracic outlet syndrome. They didn't. They didn't see that one coming. No matter how, you know, how well you think you know his shoulder or his arm.
Well, you know the three absolutes in life.
No.
Death.
Yeah.
Taxes. And pitchers get hurt.
Tommy John surgery.
Not necessarily Tommy John surgery, but pitchers break.
Yeah, it's
and Spilly's goofy. There's four.
I'm a bad penny.
And it's apparently are.
What are you looking forward to the second half with this group?
consistent, improved play. Say it that way. You know, as I said before, I don't. This group here that we have, you know, the talent that we have, you know, we should be better than 8 games under 500.
Quick follow-up to Billy's question. Do you look at it, your vision as a general manager, with all the challenges of not only playing here, but being the quote-unquote so-called mid-market, do you look at the Rockies and say, another great play by Nolan, safe, the ball was not held by Mark Reynolds, but do you look at the Rockies and say there's going to be windows of opportunity where we should be able to contend over, you know, a 5, 8, 10-year period, or I want to get to the point where I believe that we have enough depth and we're doing our job in development and we can pick pieces maybe here and there out of free agency, where I want to contend every year. Now there are going to be years that, you know, injuries or whatever takes place and precludes an opportunity to do that. Do you look at it that way, or do you look at it as, in reality, you can really only contend a handful of times out of a longer stretch of time?
No, I don't think there's ever any, you know, true value in just throwing away seasons. We're here to, you know, to play good baseball and to win baseball games at this level. You know, you know, do we have some ways that we have to do things that are similar to other teams that are of similar markets? Yeah, I mean, we're a very different organization than the Dodgers. So I think expectations of how we get to the place of trying to win every year and contend every year is going to be different than the Dodgers or the Red Sox or the Yankees. That doesn't mean that, you know, you'd like to believe that you're creative enough and you've put together or are hopefully putting together a process where you know, you put yourself in position to make good decisions, and those decisions hopefully help you, stay in contention every year. And then, you know, and then some of it is just good luck, bad luck. I mean, there is that element, you know, where you can't. I mean, we thought Jairo Diaz would be part of our bullpen this year, and there's going to be, you know, Flame part of our, you know, you just don't know. So there's some good luck that you need to have happen to you at certain parts of every season in order to stay competitive and be good.
2-1 with 2 outs on Tommy Joseph, who has homered and doubled. He scored both runs tonight for Philadelphia, and Anderson misses there. 3-1. I couldn't be more impressed with this young guy and how he prepares start to start.
He's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, if you sat with him in, well, it was Tulsa at the time in AA, and watched him lead a pregame. At that time, it was pitcher, catcher, and middle infielder meeting. We had everybody basically, and the center fielder. We had everybody up the middle preparing together as to how he was going to attack and how we were going to attack, you know, the hitters that night. You know, Trevor Story was involved there at the time. It was, you know, it was like a young man leading that meeting, you know, and his level of preparation at that point at AA is pretty much the same as it is now. Very impressive.
Studious guy. He's got to make a pitch here, and he does on the knuckles of Joseph. 3-2.
I was laughing the very first time I saw Tyler Anderson start. I got to watch it in the camera well. The first couple pitches, fastballs at 84, 85 miles an hour. I go, okay. And then 0-2 threw a pitch up and in at 93, and I go, all right, I see it. You see it within 3 pitches.
Yeah, he's got field to pitch.
And the 3-2 is looped to right center, and Joseph drops in another hit. When you make a quality pitch against him, he seems to reach. So now there's 2 on and 2 outs, and that'll bring up Paredes. We saw this guy. Do you remember, Jeff, seeing this guy in Houston? You look at a guy every once in a while, you think he's got a chance to be a star, and then you fast forward a few years and he becomes an extra.
Yeah.
That's how hard the game is.
There's a lot of good players. I mean, you know, the cream rises, right?
Yeah.
You have All-Star break coming up. Plan anything during All-Star break, family-wise?
Nah, try not to. Try to keep it low-key. You know, it's still it's a working break for a lot of people here, especially with, you know, the nature of the trade deadline at the end of the month. We're still kind of, you know, we'll be working our way through that. But, you know, I think you do have to take just a little bit of a breath, and you know, that's important too. So we'll do that.
Do you have a feel whenever you see, we hear about it all the time, players hitting in the home run derby? Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, look, it's an honor. Like I said before, you only go around this thing one time, right? And so I completely understand why guys want to do it. I completely understand that it's probably it's fun. It looks like a fun event, you know, to be around a lot of the guys that, you know, you have fun with, your friends on other teams or guys that you respect on other teams that you know, and it's cool, you know, it's a cool thing. So I get it. Is there a reality to it being potentially draining? And you listen to stories, and I mean, guys that have come out this year who have said no to it because I'm going to be too tired, or I'm worried about it affecting my swing, or I value the rest more than the experience, or, you know, I mean, there have been guys in our past here who have come back and said, yeah, I was really tired. I probably would have been, you know, it would have been more valuable to it. But, you know, it is an honor, and it's so I get it.
And you can win another car.
I think Walt did this a couple of years ago. I'm trying to remember who it was with, but Trevor's got it at the inning. I think Walt, like Thursday, the workout in Atlanta. I'm sure Cargo and Nolan, they can sit and watch that workout. They don't need any more practice. Jeff, appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Enjoy the break.
Okay, thanks.
As always, thank you.
Jeff Bridich, general manager of the Rockies. Colorado down 2-0. Back in a moment. Here's tonight's First Bank game recap. Well, so far, Philadelphia leading 2-0. And their pitcher, Jared Eichhoff's throwing up a bunch of zeros. The Rockies will try to get after him with Daniel Descalso, Mark Reynolds, and Tony Walters in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Eichhoff's been kind of as advertised. Gritty competitor, stays out of the middle of the plate. The Rockies have been held to 3 singles. LeMahieu, Tyler Anderson, and Charlie Blackmon. As Descalso grounds out.
First baseman, number 12, Mark Reynolds.
Tomorrow is Military Appreciation Day at Coors Field, and the first 10,000 fans through the gates will receive a water bottle courtesy of Jeep.
Limited to 3 runs last night, though they had 12 hits. Eickhoff in his last outing beat the Braves, went 7 2/3 in that outing. A couple runs on 5 hits, struck out 8, walked 3. Left center field, playable for Borges. 2 outs.
Catcher, number 14, Tony.
That'll bring up Tony Walters. Sarah, who's an amateur meteorologist, saying it's at least 340 degrees at this Rockies game right now. Trust me, well, not a meteorologist, a scientist. 340 degrees is hot. Or somewhere between 88 degrees and 343 degrees.
Be like is she a fake meteorologist, scientist, pharmacist? One of the 3.
One of the 3. It's interesting how you worked in pharmacist with meteorologist and scientist.
I don't know, that's where my mind went.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Tony takes that pitch for a strike. 1 and 2.
Well, this is the second time for some of these batters to see Eickhoff, and from what I've been watching, there is a little deception in there. But more importantly, he is thrown to all 4 quadrants.
There
That's nice.
is a base hit. That's huge. Hitting in that 8 spot. 2 outs, nobody on. At the very least, you want to flip the lineup, and that was the accomplishment of Tony Walters there.
Tyler Anderson had his first hit already, so it had an extra hitter. In the 3rd inning, Tyler Anderson's first major league hit. Rifled through the right side of the infield.
Uh-oh. This ball lined to deep right's got a chance to go. How do you like that? Tyler Anderson just tied it up. We got it wrong. Tony Walters was setting the table. Wow. He just went Jason Jennings.
He just took one. He just needed that first single, and then now the floodgates are out.
Hey, look at this. No smile either. He's still got the game face. Oh, there you go. Tyler Anderson ties it up with a 2-out, 2-run blast.
Cutter inside, right into Tyler Anderson's barrel. Need to pull those hands inside. He knew it right off the bat. Look at Eric Young.
Blackman bounces it to first. That'll end the inning, but a whole new evening. Tyler Anderson going Little League. Pitching and hitting. 2-2. Tyler Anderson with a 2-run shot. Still can't get over that. A no-doubter to right. It's his first 2 major league hits. Let's check in with Brad Thompson. Brad, how you doing?
Drew, we got a special guest up here at the suite level. This is Jeb Schroeder. He's battling cancer right now. He's 19 years old from Campo, Colorado. He's up here. He had a very special day. Jeb, what happened today?
Oh man, it's awesome. We got here about 4 o'clock. Everything was a big surprise, you know. And I got to go down on the field and I got to meet Trevor Story, Nolan Arenado, Carlos Gonzalez, Vinny Castilla, and I got a bunch of autographs and everything. It's pretty neat. It's really, and they gave me this suite. This was a big surprise for everything. It was awesome.
Yeah, Mom and Dad are here next to us. Becky and Curtis. They've got dozens of family members here. Who's your current favorite Rockies player?
My current favorite Rocky player has to be probably Nolan Arenado, because you know I was a third baseman in high school, and you just really look up to Nolan.
Guys, he's a huge Rockies fan. He's come up with a foul ball before. Who gave you that ball?
Well, it was in 2005 whenever the Red Sox won the World Series, and Curt Schilling was at bat, and he hit a foul ball over to Todd Helton, and I was in the front row, and Todd Helton just tossed me the ball up, and I caught it, and I was probably 7 years old or so, and it was pretty neat.
And you came away with some sweet stuff today too, huh?
Yeah, they gave me a baseball bat, and they signed it, a Rockies jersey, and they signed that one too, and all kinds of stuff. It's pretty neat.
For Jeb, it's been a very special day as you see Mark Reynolds make a nice play over there at first base. But you've got a message for people if they have to deal with testicular cancer or just guys in general.
Well, you know, it really can happen to anybody. You know, it doesn't really choose people. It just because you're young and healthy, and you may think that, you know, it can't touch me. Like it definitely can. It can really happen to anybody. Just get yourself checked and just be safe, you know.
Jeb's message: spread the awareness, and it's all brought to you by UC Health, and the Rockies put this all on, so we're very thankful to them. And Jeb, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Drew.
Brad, thanks much. And Jeb looks great. We're watching him have fun on the field with a number of the Rockies, and we're thrilled he's doing so well and continued success in his recovery, and a great message as well from Jeb.
Interesting play. Tyler Anderson probably getting yelled at from Nolan as he's running towards the baseball. I got it. It's about the only time you'll ever see Nolan not make a perfectly accurate throw. It's not going to go down as an error. Go down as a base hit.
Cesar Hernandez, 2 infield hits, is now 3 for 3. Speed at first in a 2-2 game. Tyler Goodell's at the plate. Brother Eric pitching for the Mets.
Well, he's claimed in the Rule 5 draft this December. Former first rounder for the Tampa Bay Rays.
This will be the final inning in all likelihood for Tyler Anderson. Next pitch will be number 100, and he's got it, and the high feed, good catch by Story. They would have been able to turn 2 potentially on a good feed.
One of the hardest things to do for a pitcher is to just throw the baseball over the bag. And where Tyler Anderson sees Trevor Story, Trevor Story's playing in the spot more to pull. So Tyler Anderson's trying to lead Trevor Story to the baseball instead of just throwing over the bag and trusting that Trevor will get there. We've seen that multiple times this year with the Rockies pitching staff on those throws at second base.
Here's Eichhoff. Eichhoff takes a pretty good pass also. Long ball left field to strike out.
You know, Eichhoff has nothing but revenge on his mind right here for giving up the home run to Tyler Anderson.
And he's throwing a 5-hitter, and 2 of the hits he's given up are to his counterpart Anderson, and one, as we know, went over the wall. Tyler Anderson's very cerebral. We've discussed that in each of his starts. He just got a swing on a pitch that was a foot outside. Throw it a foot and a half outside. See if you get another swing. Down the right field line, Cargo's not going to have room to make a play. About Tyler Anderson, folks. His first start, 1 run in 6 1/3. Next one, 2 runs in 5 2/3. 2 runs in 5 2/3 against Arizona in his third start. Toronto, 2 runs in 6 innings. Last start in San Francisco, 3 runs in 6 innings. And tonight, 2 runs in 6 innings as the play is completed at first base. Tyler Anderson has been sensational every start for the Rockies. 2-2.
Tied up at 2, so you should every Sunday on the home games bike to the game. And tomorrow, ride your bike for the chance to win prizes. Go to Rockies.com/green for details. Should I ride my bike to the game tomorrow?
You did last Sunday. Well, you drove it to.
I ride my bike to the station, train station, then I take the train
to the light rail. Tony Walters visiting with Tyler Anderson, and the left-handed version of Jason Jennings. You remember, John. Tyler Anderson tonight, assuming he's done, 105 pitches, 70 for strikes. His career best is 106 pitches 2 starts ago against Toronto. The one thing he hasn't been the beneficiary of is much run support. He took matters into his own hands tonight and hit a 2-run homer. See if the Rockies now can figure out Jerad Eickhoff. It's the 3rd time through. DJ LeMahieu, Nolan Arenado, Carlos Gonzalez in the 6th inning. And Eickhoff with a curveball for a first pitch strike.
I'd like to see the Rockies bat through the lineup and watch Tyler Anderson come up to hit again.
I think Tyler Anderson would like that.
Yeah.
DJ base hit in the 1st, and he grounded into a 5-3 double play his next time up. Up the middle, another base hit for LeMahieu. And another 2-strike hit. Another hit behind in the count. One of the best in the game at hitting behind in the count.
Part of the reason what allows DJ to be so good at hitting with 2 strikes is that he has so much plate coverage. Look where that pitch is and look at how he stretches out, just punches the ball into the outfield. DJ might be asking Tommy Joseph at first how he's doing it.
Here's Nolan. Ruiz hoping for a play. Not going to have one 3 rows deep. Phone's okay.
Yep, selfie time.
Nolan drives it to left field, and it's a fair ball into the corner. LeMahieu to third. He'll stop there. It's another double for Nolan Arenado. Number 24 on the season.
Eichhoff has not made many mistakes. He's made 2 so far in the last 2 innings. The one to Tyler Anderson, and this pitch. He's trying to go up. Just wasn't able to get the ball inside enough. Watch DJ knowing right off the bat, he's thinking scoring. He'll pick up Stu Cole at third, and Stu quickly puts the brakes up.
So here comes Cargo. Ground ball to second, and he hit a ball to the wall in right center his last time up. The infield's back with nobody out, conceding a run. And this will get it done. You get it in play, you get a run. 3-2. Cargo got jammed. But the Rockies are up a run as LeMahieu scores. And because he pulled the baseball, you also get Nolan to third. And now Philadelphia will bring the infield in with Storia. Second and third, nobody out. You score 85% of the time. Runner on third with 1 out, Spilly. You score 63% of the time.
And the beautiful part about these situations are that you can score without getting hits. Cargo, ground ball to second base for an out, scores a run. Trevor has many opportunities now to score a run without needing a base hit.
Story takes a breaking ball for a strike. Is this another spot where you remind yourself, stay centered, stay in the middle of the yard?
It's hard because you know the pitcher's trying to bust you inside. And so there's different approaches you can take. If you know the pitch is coming in, you can also try to hit infield in as hard as you want. Oh, look out. See mislocation, he's trying to throw in. This is the situation that it calls for. Anytime you see a runner at third and a right-handed hitter, the pitcher is going to be throwing the ball inside. Get you to try to hit a ground ball to the left side of the infield. You can see why Trevor Story wears that elbow guard. Caught a little bit of his tricep and a little bit of that guard.
So first and third for Descalso.
Let's see if Trevor's gonna be upset and try to steal second. Sometimes you'll see guys do that.
One thing Eichhoff has done well tonight, he's got 8 ground ball outs. Descalso will be mindful of that, trying to get something up.
bench coach Larry Boa knows the game and understands Trevor's story after getting hit by a pitch. Might consider stealing second, so they pick over right away.
Kind of held that leg in the air and threw a breaking ball, but he was slower than what the average time to the plate traditionally is. Average time about 1.3. He was 1.4 to the plate there, which is a running time, especially for a guy like Trevor Story, who has 6 bags. And Descalso takes that pitch for a strike, 1-1. So Eickhoff pitching backwards here. Only throwing 76 pitches. He's been very good, but the Rockies have a 3-2 lead, trying to expand it right now. Arenado at third, Story at first. Daniel in these situations this year, runner on third, less than 2 outs, 4 for 6.
Ruiz behind the plate last year had 46 stolen bases against him. Only caught 11. This year there's been 14 stolen bases. He's caught 6 of them. Eickhoff went with the slide step that last pitch.
And he was 1-1-8 to the plate.
And that's what you're hoping. You're hoping that the base runner has in his mind he's stealing and get him on a quick pitch.
This ball's popped up foul and hopefully drifted out of play, and it will. Two on Descalso.
This is always decision-making time for Walt. You have a hitter that can handle the bat, Daniel Descalso, a base runner, and Trevor Story that can run. 2-2 count. Sometimes is an off-speed count.
Not going. Looked like Daniel held up. Third base umpire agrees. Chris Conroy. Now, almost assuredly, he'll be running.
Pretty close. It was 3 years ago they eliminated the pick your leg.
Not going, and this ball lined to deep right, and it is foul.
The fake throw to third, pick off the first. Almost automatically 3-2 in this situation. You would have seen that years ago. Now you don't.
I don't know why that was eliminated.
You like that?
It's
to me, it was a
like
balk.
or dislike.
It was a balk.
Fake the third, throw to first.
I didn't like it. I'm glad they got rid of it.
Runner going here, ball 4. And now they're loaded up for Mark Reynolds. Good at bat from Descalso. Bases loaded, 1 out. And Pete Buchanan's going to make a change. No, excuse me, it's Bobby McClure going out. No change. To Colorado, chance to add on. The day after every Rockies win, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Use the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. Inning began with a base hit by LeMahieu on an 0-2 pitch. Then Nolan doubled. Fargo, a slow roller to second, drove home a run. That was Fargo's 53rd RBI. And then Trevor Story was hit by a pitch, and Descalso just walked on a 3-2 delivery. Mark Reynolds, a fly ball to right and a fly ball to center. So impressed with how Mark Reynolds, we've had this discussion from the second week of April forward. Reynolds using the whole field. He's got a better two-strike approach, and he hasn't deviated from it, Spilly. I mean, he's really stayed locked in with his approach all year.
He really has, and
and not chasing.
He's not chasing him. Part of the reason why he's not pulling the baseball as much, his career average pulling the baseball was 46%. It's dropped down to 39% now, that's a significant improvement. He was only hitting the baseball about 20% opposite field. This year, it's 27% of the time.
Just put large pressure on the young right-hander Eickhoff. It's 2-0, bases loaded, 1 out. 3 balls, no strikes.
I've seen green light given to many, many batters. 3-0 with the bases loaded. I doubt you'll see them give it to him, but if you're willing to swing 0-0, that's what I've been told before. If you're willing to swing first pitch, why aren't you willing to swing 3-0?
And the way he set up for that, I believe he had a green light. Would you concur?
I concur, just based on the way he took that pitch. He was looking like he was loading up aggressively.
Now Eickhoff will step off the bat, 3-1. Arenado's at third, Story at second, Descalso at first. Infield and outfield basically straight up. Ball 4, and for the 8th time this year, the Rockies have drawn a bases loaded walk. Make it 4-2. Come on down, Nolan Arenado.
Great at bat by Mark Reynolds, making sure he wasn't chasing. Take a look at the pitch by pitch of this at bat. Important first pitch strike. He didn't bite on the slider away. Goes back to it. Eickhoff knew he missed an opportunity to jump ahead of Mark Reynolds. Sinker down. There's the 3-0. Ball 4 just off the plate. That is a solid professional at bat.
Yep, and now Tony Walters. Keep in mind, Tony runs well. Tough man to double. Singled in his last at bat. His first time up, he tried to bunt his way on. First pitch missed. Eickhoff had not walked a batter entering the frame. He's walked 2 in a row after hitting Story. And now he is 2-0 on Walters. All of a sudden, Eickhoff, who is working ahead of virtually every hitter, has hit a rough patch. Christian Adames looks like he'll pinch hit for the slugger Tyler Anderson. Walters takes a strike. It was a borderline pitch. It's a good take, 2-1. That at bat for Mark Reynolds. You look at Story at third. Here's Descalso. The bat for Mark Reynolds reminded me so much of what Giambi would do when he played here late in ball games. If they don't throw me a strike, I'll pass the baton, trust my teammate behind me. Hard on the ground, fair ball down the line. That'll score at least 2. The trail runner's Reynolds. He'll get a green light. He'll score easily on a triple from Tony Walters. 7-2 Colorado.
Clear ball, Tony Walters. He gets a pitch, lays off several tough pitches. Eickhoff threw to him. Just yanks it right down the first baseline. Little two-seam stayed up. Tony gets the barrel to it. Pulls it right past Tommy Joseph. Paredes has trouble picking the ball up in the right field corner, and Mark Reynolds was able to score from first base. That's how you bust it open.
Feels good for Tony Walters. Enjoying a laugh with Stu Cole. 7-2 Colorado. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Well, the evening has turned a whole lot more pleasant. The Rockies trailed 2-0 last inning, and then with 2 outs, Walters singled, and Tyler Anderson hit a 2-run home run. Fast forward an inning, Tony Walters clears the bases with a triple, the first triple of his career. And it is now 7-2 Colorado. Severino Gonzalez will take over for Jerad Eickhoff. And the Rockies are going to go with Brandon Barnes here, because Barnes, with the lead, will come in defensively for Descalso. Safety squeeze, and well, that was lucky for Carlos Ruiz that he hit Tony Walters with the throw. If it doesn't hit Walters, it's going to go down the left field line. Walters is going to run home backwards.
Well, watch Franco, the third baseman, run in, lose his footing on the grass. As he reaches up, luckily for Franco, it hits Walters right in the back. We don't get to see that too often.
No, technically, Tony did the absolute right thing, coming back in fair ground. Barnes fouls that off. You want to get in that throwing lane.
That's what you're supposed to do. If you get caught, come back on the field of play and you try to make it difficult for the fielder to catch the baseball.
Little did he know Franco was on his derriere. 1 and 2. I think that's the first time in my career, 2 straight ball games we've worked in derriere.
That's a good word. Well, if the viewer at home just saw
speaking.
Yeah, I thought you said it derriere last night. There was a Hawks derriere that flew right through the camera view. The last pitch. It's right in front of us.
There
Can you see it? It's right by our press box.
Sammy, was that you? That's a great shot, Sammy. Oh, that was Brian Peters down the left field line. Fair ball. Barnes will have himself a double, and the Rockies lead it 8-2.
nice at bat for Brandon Barnes. Potential safety squeeze. The rally hawk. Look at his mouth. He's wide open. He's like, wow, nice swing, Brandon. He needs a replay. Oh, we'll show it to you anyways. Fastball out over the plate. Brandon just drops his hands and the barrel follows.
Rockies having one of those breakout innings. They have scored 6 here in the 6th. Charlie Blackmon, the 9th man to hit. Charlie a single back in the 3rd, 1 for 3. That'll close the book on Eickhoff. 8 runs in 5 1/3. It's the rally hawk.
Rally BK video yesterday.
It's good for a run.
The hawk is worth 6 runs.
Hawks looking for dinner. This ball's hit well to center field. Going back is Borges. He'll make the catch, and Barnes will tag and move up to 3rd. I saw something that I don't remember the last time I've seen it. So on the double by Barnes, the first baseman's job is to trail the runner. So Barnes ends up at 2nd. The run scores, obviously, and then time's called. And Joseph stood there, and Barnes handed him his elbow guard, gave it to, and instead of the first base coach, which normally see running out to second base, Joseph ran it back over to Eric Young.
Be surprised. It happens quite often.
I guess I've always missed it.
On doubles, though, on doubles where the first baseman trails, you'll see some guys will just put their glove up, and the hitter will put his stuff in the glove, and the guy will run it over there.
What a magnanimous gesture by Tommy Joseph. 2 strikes on DJ, so basically LeMahieu has Severino Gonzalez right where he wants him. Last 0-2 count earlier in the inning. DJ served a single up the middle to start this 6-run rally. 1 and 2. LeMahieu 2 for 3 tonight. What do we say about fuel?
Needed some?
Well, you know, DJ not named to the All-Star team.
Oh yeah,
second leading hitter in the National League.
He was going to get 3 hits tonight.
I got you out of your chair for a second. Saw a line drive. You're thinking, man. And that's strike 3. So the Rockies send 10 to the plate in the 6th, and 6 men score. Colorado leads Philadelphia 8-2. Tony Walker's first career triple comes with the bases loaded. Got everybody off their feet, including the Hawk. performance. Well, Tyler Anderson is in line for his first career victory. 6 innings tonight, 2 runs on 9 hits, did not walk anybody for the second time in his career. And he struck out 6. Oh, by the way, did we tell you he had his first career hit, a single, and then his next time up, he launched a game-tying 2-run home run. How about that for a night? Even the Hawk was impressed. 8-2 Colorado. And Tyler was coming out of the ball game. It was 2-2. The Rockies rallied for 6. One of the issues, the reason that he didn't have any victories, he's pitched so well, as you see Barnes in left field, is the Rockies hadn't scored any runs for him until tonight. And now Jordan Lyles in the 7th inning. Borges in the top of the Philadelphia order in the top of inning number 7. Outside ball 1. Borges tonight a strikeout, a line out, and a ground ball to short.
The ever important shutdown inning. Anytime you score runs, you'd like to get your team back off the field and into the dugout.
Broken bat fly ball. Barnes is there. Oh, he's going to have to field it on a hop. He deked me. So Borges continues to throw out hits. 17 out of his last 18 ball games he's produced a hit.
His first 153 at bats for Peter Borges. He hit 196. His last 93, well over 400.
That in a nutshell is the game of baseball.
I looked a little bit beyond it. One of the things that Borges was doing different, he has a huge hole.
Double play ball. DJ good feed. Story to Reynolds. 4-6-3. Freddie Galvis hits into the twin killing. Maikel Franco coming up.
Sunday, August 7th is the 12th annual Faith Day at Coors Field, featuring a free post-game concert by Crowder. Discounts available for groups of 25 or more.
Third baseman, number 7, Maikel Franco.
I want to get to the point about Peter Borges, which is always interesting, is when you watch players and why is somebody doing something so much better than he was earlier. He had a huge hole above his belt, chasing the high fastball. Chasing it at over 40% of the time, and he's eliminated that, and you can see the average just started to climb for him.
Game of adjustments. Constant adjustments. In the air to Cargo in right field. Good strong inning for Jordan Lyles. Middle of 7, we stretch with the Rockies in front 8-2 at Coors Field.
Of the 7th, some information on the Rally Hawk. It's a red-tailed hawk. Now, one came here in 2013. Another one showed up in 2015. Everybody knows the story of the birds and the bees. 3 babies were hatched earlier this year, late April, early May. Their nest is on top of the light pole stanchion above the Rocky sign here in left center field. And so they're here now. They're great baseball fans, obviously. And can you imagine growing up as a Hawk here at Coors Field?
We'll get back to the Hawk in one moment because Nolan's rolling towards third with a triple. The Rally Hawk's working.
That Hawk's name is LaTroy. And he's sitting right underneath Jeff Bridich. You think he's asking for a tryout?
No, he's already signed. Saw Jeff on the phone a moment ago. They got the deal consummated. Second triple of the year for Arenado.
A watch on the Subaru Supermo. Impressive thing is Nolan's been using the other side of the field a lot more often the last couple weeks. This time driving the baseball opposite field. Brady's having difficulty in right field, and you can see the rare times that Nolan will get a stand-up triple.
Hey, Brad, I have to tell you, I'm very impressed with that the quick research on the family background of Mr. Hawk. You know,
well, they've been flying around for a while. I've noticed we had some shots of the babies earlier in the year, but that doesn't look like a baby.
I'm not exactly an expert on birds, but that does not look like a baby hawk, no. He's very confident. He has not moved in 2 innings. Found his perch, and he's going to hang there.
Now you can see me checking it out.
One strike count on Cargo. And this is popped up in the infield. Galvis will grab it. Nolan has to stay at third, 1 out. Trevor Story tonight, 0 for 2, and was hit by a pitch and scored last inning.
Well, as we watch the progression of Trevor Story, one of the interesting stats to pay attention to is check out the line drive percentage. The highest all time. Do you remember Greg Jeffries?
Yes. Used to remember a piece in Sports Illustrated about Greg Jeffries. He used to swing his bat in his pool at home in Southern California underwater. He felt like it helped with his bat speed.
Sometimes I felt like in the big leagues I was swinging underwater. Well, you look at those numbers, and why is line drive so important? Well, in baseball, typically a line drive's a hit. You can see it, look at league average on line drives, and it's well over 600. When I look at those numbers, I realize that even though with all the strikeouts that Trevor has, he does have potential if he starts trimming it up to hit for a very high average.
Well, he strikes out in a different manner than other guys who have struck out a lot. And I know that sounds weird. What is he? What's Goodman talking about? He sees 4.32 pitches per at bat, which is an extraordinarily high number. So it's not 1, 2, 3, and off he goes back to the dugout. He's working counts. He's fouling pitches off. And to me, that means he's going to get better in terms of limiting the strikeouts. I look at damage done, and when you look at his OPS, it's extraordinary.
Yes, it is. And that plate pitches per plate appearance, that's third best all time by a rookie. Kosuke Fukudome, you remember him with the Chicago Cubs? That's going to hit the Hawk.
Spilly was about to dive on top and cover up the Hawk and save him.
That ball was no more than 10 feet away from hitting this Hawk. Look at it. He didn't even flinch.
Cool. Well, Story goes down, and now it'll take a 2-out hit to bring home Nolan. Jordan Lyles is going to swing the bat for himself with the 6-run lead. It's been a night for pitchers hitting. Anderson was 2 for 2, including a 2-run home run. We've seen Lyles hit a home run before. Big, strong guy out of South Carolina. Last home run prior to Tyler Anderson going deep was September 7th of last year. Kyle Kendrick hit a home run against San Diego and Ian Kennedy. 2 strikes on Lyles.
Those are 2 disappointing at bats by 2 of the middle of the lineup guys, and Carlos Gonzalez with the weak fly out to Galvis. Strikeout by Trevor Story. When you have a runner at third base with nobody out, you should always cash it in, regardless of the score. 8-2. Bradich was talking about being better at those situational at bats.
And Lyles gets locked up, and the leadoff triple goes for naught as Nolan gets stranded. He's ticked off about it.
Not happy.
Brought to you by T-Mobile. Big trade today in baseball with Boston's closer Craig Kimbrell going down on the DL with knee surgery, expected to miss 3 to 6 weeks. They traded for Brad Ziegler, the closer, for Arizona. That one caught me by surprise.
Me too. Wasn't expecting to see Ziegler get traded. He must have been a nice package for Boston to get that guy from Arizona.
Diamondbacks trade Brad Ziegler, their closer. Second inning of work for Jordan Lyles. Tommy Joseph, home run, double, single. 3-run home run off the bench last night. And that's foul. Base hit for Joseph. He's 4 for 4.
Can't figure out how to get him out.
4 for 4 tonight, 5 for 5 in the series. Guessing Pete Maccannon's going to write his name in the lineup tomorrow again.
Yeah, if you're Ryan Howard, you're sitting there watching, you go, not playing tomorrow.
Yep, All-Star break just started a day earlier. Jimmy Paredes will come up 0 for 3. Sellout crowd at Coors Field, and some of the folks oohing it on because our friend the Hawk has decided to soar around the infield and outfield here for a moment.
He's going to start his own wave. A Hawk wave.
That is a fair ball. Going to third is Joseph, and Paredes into second with a double. So 2 in scoring position, nobody out.
Jordan Lyles trying to get inside. Really gets that pitch where he wanted to, and Paredes is able to pull his hands, breaks his bat, getting this double. Not a bad pitch.
Carlos Ruiz fouls that pitch off. He's 1 for 3 tonight. And good pitch, fouled off again. 0-2. Carlos Ruiz, before the Phillies departed for Denver, had an off day here, and he said, we're going out west. He bought everybody in their traveling party a cowboy hat.
That's great.
Yeah. So the Western theme going out.
Vaqueros.
To visit us in Colorado. Those are little things that teams do, you know, periodically during the season to keep the mood light.
It's a young team. There's 11 Latin American players on the Philadelphia Phillies, and Ruiz being from Panama.
On the ground to second. A run will score. Ruiz has his second ribby of the night. It is 8-3. Joseph scores. Paredes to third.
I always felt like the catcher was such an important and integral part to the leadership of a clubhouse because he connects the position players to the pitchers. He's the bridge between them. And when you have a Latin American catcher, even better. One that can communicate with the Latin American players, keep the position players, keep everyone together. Why Chooch and his value to that team is far more than just throwing out base runners and batting average.
One and one on Cesar Hernandez. 3 hits tonight, 2 infield hits. Mentioned that Anderson gave up 9 hits in 6 innings. 3 of the 7 singles he allowed were infield singles. Anderson in line for his first major league win. It'll be a night of firsts, hopefully, for Tyler Anderson. First hit, first home run, and first win. Never forget July the 9th, I almost said 1916, 2016. Lyles making the transition and working out of the bullpen. Been a starter Whole young career beginning at Houston. Line shot right at DJ.
Yeah, I don't need it there. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live and in true HD on over 400 devices.
Tyler Goodell with 2 outs. Paredes remains at third base. 8-3 Colorado. You know, it's interesting. Last night, the Rockies fall 5-3, and they out-hit Philadelphia 12-7. Tonight, they're up 8-3, and they've been out-hit 12-10. Strange little statistical oddity. Ground ball right to Mark Reynolds. So Lyles did a nice job after the first 2 men reached. He gave up 1 run, got the next 3 hitters, 8-3, middle of 8 at Coors Field. The Rockies leading as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Mark Reynolds is going to lead it off. Concourse is busy. The reason being, sellout crowd at Coors Field, more than 48,000. Rockies have hit the magic number of 7. So don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special with Moss at Taco Bell. Severino Gonzalez continues on in relief of Jared Eichhoff, who gave up all 8 runs in 5 1/3. Reynolds had a bases loaded walk in that 6-run 6th inning to produce a run. One and 2. Phillies last year lost 99 games, had the first pick in the draft this year. You look what they've gone through the last 4 years after 5 years of being one of the dominant teams in baseball. You look at the Yankees recently, the Red Sox been up and way down. It just shows you. Ball popped out of the glove of Ruiz, keeping the bat alive for Reynolds. It just shows you how difficult it is to sustain success at the major league level. What the Cardinals have done, for instance, winning year after year. What the what the Braves did when they won 14 straight division titles, through the 90s, was unbelievable.
Well, that's why player development is so important for every organization, and making sure you get those draft picks to make sure that they're good players. You look at some of the former first rounders for the Philadelphia Phillies: Pat Burrell, Chase Utley, Aaron Nola.
One out, and that'll bring up Tony Walters, who's had a big night. You asked Jeff Bridich about some of the young players. We were having that discussion with him, and the thought is you can never have too much depth. They are good problems to have. A lot of people want to see some of the bigger names in the Rockies system here right now, and we'll be completely truthful. We get really excited about. We see him in spring training. The guys like Hoffman, the guys like Marquez, David Dahl, Tapia. We've seen those guys on the backfields. We've seen them on in spring training on the big league field in A games, and you get excited and you want to see him part of things. But everything is part of the process, and all in due time, because nobody was talking about Tyler Anderson a few months ago, but the Rockies realized they had a pretty talented pitcher. Not going to overwhelm you at 98 miles an hour, but he was a Texas League Pitcher of the Year 2 years ago, was out all of last year with an elbow issue, and here he is, and he's made 6 high-quality starts in his first 6 outings in the big leagues.
And you have to look at every player is different, and their timeline is different. You look at 2 years ago, Eddie Butler, great start to the season. He was doing so well in Double-A. He gets an opportunity to pitch at the major league level. Here's a guy that's potentially going to save the starting rotation, a new big time arm, and he struggled. And it's not whether he was ready or the organization pushed him too hard. It's one of those things. Some guys, they can be as good as they are in the minor leagues. When they get to the big leagues, it's totally different. You don't know.
High fly ball to Borges in center field. Rockies go in order in the 8th inning. We'll turn the page to inning number 9. Jordan Lyles will try to close it out with the Rockies up by 5. On Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Elegant. Graceful. Speaking of elegant and graceful, our 2 co-hosts on the Toyota postgame show, Mark Stout and Corey Sullivan, will have all of the details of hopefully this Rockies win. They're up 8-3, looking for 3 more outs. Pinch hitting in the pitcher spot will be all-star Odubel Herrera. Rockies did a real classy thing before the ball game. Herrera hit hits a fly ball to center. They honored Nolan Arenado and Carlos Gonzalez and showed off their game jerseys for the National League in the All-Star game on Tuesday night. And then they also made mention congratulating Odubel Herrera as the Phillies representative in the All-Star game on Tuesday. That was a nice moment before the game. And they're going with the, Padres theme. They're going, look at that, the throwback jerseys for the National Leaguers.
I like it. Remember that hole I was telling you about, Peter Borges? Lyles just threw it right up there. You see those San Diego Padres commemorative dark brown and gold for the All-Star game. I'm looking forward to the All-Star game this year.
I always look forward to it, and I say this not because we work in baseball every day. The Pro Bowl's unwatchable. The NBA All-Star game and the NHL All-Star game, I love seeing the great players, but come on, literally nobody plays any defense at all. It's the closest thing to a real game. Now, obviously, you're not going to have a Clayton Kershaw. He can't participate this year. But, a starting pitcher goes 7 innings, that sort of thing. It's played differently, but it's still the best taking on the best in a real baseball environment. So I very much look forward to watching every year. Our old friend Warren Miller, who's done so much in this business in the PR department, he came on with the Rockies a couple of years ago. And Warren worked for the Padres for a long time. Before that, Houston with Biggio and Bagwell. And we were chatting today in the dugout about Tony Gwynn. If Tony played in his heyday, the late Tony Gwynn, at Coors Field, what he'd hit. And I don't think there's any doubt, because he flirted with 400 in San Diego. I don't think there's any doubt that he would have thrown out a 400 batting average one year. I know that sounds crazy.
It does sound crazy, but when you look at from 1994 to 97, he won 4 straight National League batting titles. Hit .394 in 1994. And this was pre-Humidor time.
Borges strikes out, and the Rockies are an out away.
Tony Gwynn ended up winning a batting title from 1994 to 1997. And then it was 4 straight Colorado Rockies. You had Larry winning it back-to-back years in 98 and 99. Then he had the ice pick Todd Helton with a .372 batting average in 2000. Then back to Larry Walker in 2001. That would have been incredible, though. Tony Gwynn as the Colorado Rocky.
We're great magicians. I think that word applies with the baseball bat.
What was the story? Greg Maddux? He just would throw it right down the middle, just let him hit it, get it over with.
That was a great story. Here's the 0-1 on Galvis. He turns and lines one deep into the seats foul. The story was Greg Maddux, as great as Maddux was, we're talking about 2 Hall of Famers, he knew that Tony Gwynn was going to put it in play, and chances are he's going to get a hit through the 5.5 hole. So instead of trying to really work him, he said, I'm just going to throw it down the middle, and then I'll move on to the next guy and figure out how I'm going to get through the inning. 2 strikes. Ground ball right side, and it's going to sneak through.
Third baseman, number 7, Maikel Franco.
It's Maikel Franco. Infield single back in the 5th, 1 for 4. Rockies up 8-3, 2 outs in the 9th inning. Franco takes a big rip. No baseball. It's 0-1. Rockies and Philadelphia will play one more game before the All-Star break. The Rockies will have Tyler Chatwood. They've taken him into the All-Star break with a victory. in the air to center field. Charlie Blackmon waiting. 48,000 can celebrate. The Rockies have defeated the Phillies tonight in front of the fireworks show 8-3. What a night for Tyler Anderson. He gets his first big league victory, first big league hit, and also his first big league home run. Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Naturally the work of the left-hander out of Nevada by way of the University of Oregon. First career win for Anderson, and then that line shot. Well, there's the base hit, but here's the line shot that tied up the game. One was the home run and a blowout. The Rockies were down 2-0 when he hit one over the scoreboard. That tied up the game. It was a 2-out home run after Walters had singled. Huge, huge Little League-like night for Tyler Anderson. We'll be hearing from him momentarily. Jordan Lyles pitched 3 innings. He gets his second career save. Taking the loss for Houston was Jared Eichhoff. He falls to 6-10. A lot to talk about on the Toyota postgame show. The boys are up next.